Any examples used are for illustrative purposes only and do not take into account your particular investment objectives, financial situation, or needs, and may not be suitable for all investors. It is not intended to predict the performance of any specific investment and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy.
This is another Money Show. Get set for another hour of the latest financial information and economic news affecting your bottom line. JR and Anthony are committed to helping more Americans like you optimize their income, reduce their tax risk, and reach financial freedom. So let's start the show. Here are your hosts, Anthony Correo and JR Rochford.
Here we are, your hosts, Anthony Correo and J.R. Rochford, taking a break from our day-to-day as financial advisors with Rochford and Associates, fully independent fourth-generation family office right here in Sun City to bring you things you're probably not hearing on those other financial shows. We're aware the last thing you need is another money show, but we appreciate you being here. And today we're going to be carefully listening to how many song references J.R. makes, because so far we've up to Missing Persons, Randy Newman, Gary Newman, and Sam, who was the other one?
Starship.
Oh, yeah. Starship.
Jefferson Airplane.
Was it Jefferson Starship?
Yes. After they lost the airplane and they went modern and went to the Starship. Now they're going to go Jefferson. Yes. The next Jefferson is going to be a UAP. It's going to be Jefferson UAP. They're going to call him
the long lineage from Thomas Jefferson to Jefferson Airplane. Building the Constitution and then building cities on rock and roll.
Nice. All right. Well, with that said, why don't we start? I know I've said this before, but I have a lot to get to. So let's jump right in. The only shout outs I have, really, I want to give a shout out to Michael C. from Sun City. Just because you're on vacation doesn't mean you can't send me stuff. Just if you're listening, I'm not going to let you know that I give you a shout out on today's show, but if you hear it, I hope you reach out. So Sam mentioned that it's hot in Sun City, Arizona. It is hot, hot, hot. Let me tell you about
Poindexter.
Buster, good for you. You got that quickly.
With David Johansen from the New York Dolls. They invented glam rock.
Okay, so our new show, the new format starting next week, is going to be songs, name that tune, another music trivia show. Yes, Sam, I like the title. So shout outs. I really don't have much this week. We did have a new couple in the office yesterday. So they didn't know about the show. So this is a couple that didn't come from the show, but they are excited about hearing the show. So if you're listening to this on Friday afternoon or evening, or Saturday at 5:00 or noon on 960 The Patriot, thank you for coming in. That was a wonderful visit. So it's a very, very, very small world. I can't get into too much specifics, but an old office manager had referred this person into the office years ago, and the guy never came in. And then he is dating somebody who has seen our presentations at different events. I guess she saw us speak 3 different times, and she said, you need to see these guys. So the guy that came in was referred to us twice over the last few years. So that was fun. And they're really cool people. So that always helps. Let's get into, I have so much. Did I mention that? So, I guess we'll start out with September's right around the corner, right? Oh, to finish up the heat, Sam, you're in Georgia. I know, and don't tell me about humidity. I lived in Illinois for 23 years. I lived in Florida for almost 2 years. I've experienced humidity, but holy crap, it's supposed to be 114 today, 116 or no, 100, I don't know, 100 and something today, 116 to 117 on Saturday. So it's just miserable. And this is our monsoon season. So we do actually have elevated humidity now too. So it sucks, but it is what it is. And I would like to be in San Diego. If I had anybody that cared about me wanted to take me to San Diego, I'd go there for a few days and get out of this heat. So, yes, Anthony, I'm just.
Oh, no, I'll be in San Diego.
I know. I'm aware. I'm well aware of the fact of where you'll be during the day that it's 117 degrees out. So, where was I? September. When I first got stationed in Arizona in 1987 out at Luke Air Force Base, it was about the middle of September when you knew the weather was going to break, it was going to start cooling down. I mean, you knew that relief was in sight. Now you're lucky if Halloween isn't miserable. Put the little duck costume on your 4-year-old and they melt in there. So it's bad. I don't know if it's global warming. I don't know if I should be thinking more green than I am, or if it's just the fact that now we have golf courses and pools and concrete everywhere. I mean, this is one growing state. So I don't know, but it's going to be hot. I guess we've covered the weather. I don't think we need to get to the sports today because soccer is finally over. What was that, about 6 years worth of this FIFA crap? Who won? Was it Spain or Argentina or what? How did it end?
Spain.
Okay, good for you, Spain.
Right? 1-0. I think it was
Spaniards. If you're listening to another money show, congratulations. September. The end of September is what, about two months away? So why did you pull up the Onion for the news report? That's enough soccer for now. Man, you're not kidding. I've heard enough about soccer to last my lifetime, and I
forgot the Onion owns InfoWars now.
You're kidding.
See that? Yeah, no, look in the right-hand corner. I forgot. Yeah, the Onion owns InfoWars.
That's two opposite. Oh my gosh, that's two pretty opposite. I'm sure over the years people didn't think it was two opposite theories. InfoWars is owned by the Onion? Wow. Well, I mean, the Bee, what is it? Not the Bee, the Bee. What's the other satire site?
Oh, I know what you're talking. I can picture the logo.
The Babylon Bee. We need to see if they're willing to purchase another money show, because a lot of what we say on here seems hard to believe. All right, let's do it. Sam, who do we talk to over at the Babylon Bee to get ownership? I keep getting myself distracted. The end of September is coming up rapidly. You do realize with everything we talk about, we're getting ready to hit another government shutdown? Somebody brought up on the radio this morning. I forgot about that. So the government is going to shut down again in the end of September. We're broke. I mean, apparently yesterday, the big defense spending bill, I don't know what it is, another $1 trillion got approved. So as usual, there's a bunch of other stuff in the spending bill. Apparently the Save America Act is going to save America because that's part of it, I guess. I haven't read any details on it yet. But this Iran war is going to be kind of costly. We gave a bunch of money to Ukraine. We're always feeding Israel for their ongoing fight with Palestine. But this Iran thing, it's not over. It was supposed to last a couple of weeks. It was to make sure they didn't get nuclear weapons, I guess. Well, it seems never ending. It's ramping up big time. We're in like day 12 of day and night bombing over there. We're talking about bombing power stations and bridges. So the Houthi rebels, they attacked a couple Saudi ships in the Red Sea. That was either yesterday or last night or today. I have no sense of time right now. And that's a problem, because that's another 10% of the country's oil movement. Not the country, the globe. So watch out. I'm always saying in this show, I'm always saying to people, if your 401k is steady or going up and your gas prices are steady or going down, the mainstream people don't ask why. They don't care why. They're just happy. But I can tell you, this little lull we had where gas went down in Arizona anyway, it went down to the, mid $3 range. I was a little skeptical. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure we're done over there. And here we go. So apparently it's spiking. The Brent crude went over $95 yesterday. So hang on, your gas is going to go up again. And obviously that trickles down to groceries and other things. So it is a mess. Alex, our dear friend Alex, sent us an article. I found this interesting and timely. This was on the 16th of July. U.S. grocery slowdown deepens as shoppers buy fewer items, raising pressure on food companies. The U.S. grocery slowdown is becoming harder to ignore. Shoppers are buying fewer items than a year ago, and grocery sales are declining as weakening unit sales are now outweighing rising prices. That is according to the new analysis from Bain and Company using Nielsen IQ grocery data shared exclusively with CNBC. By the way, this article from Alex is from CNBC, on the 16th. And what piqued my interest, even that upper income consumer, you're talking a big enough absolute dollar change that people start to feel a little bit of that sticker shock and start to shop around. Bain's U.S. Consumer Pulse Wave Survey conducted in May found about 80% of Americans, about 80% of Americans are still trying to spend less, while 28% are actively cutting back on grocery spending. Among those shoppers, 56% said they are trading down to cheaper brands, 49% said they're buying fewer items, and 44% said that they are relying more heavily on coupons and promotions. So it seems like this is affecting the entire nation, even those with more money now. So we will see. And the thing is, the little reprieve we had, it didn't lower grocery prices at all. It lowered the price at the pump a little bit, but it didn't lower grocery prices. So I think that's going to get worse again. I'm sorry to be pessimistic, but hang on and watch out. So here's a article I got from the End Time Headlines on the 22nd. So just yesterday. Today, as we record, is Thursday, the 23rd of July, 2026. Yesterday, the End Time Headlines put out an article, oil spikes to $95 mark as Middle East conflict. When are we going to call it a war? I'm just curious. I'm tired. I don't like the word conflict. It's a war. I mean, when you're bombing, cities and people, and let's say what it is, drags on. According to reporting from the New York Times, oil prices rose on Wednesday as escalating military actions between the United States and Iran continued to unsettle energy markets, raising fresh concerns over potential disruptions to global oil supplies. I think that's all I need to read of that long article because it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm not sure we're done. So government shutdowns coming up. We just passed another spending bill yesterday. Gas prices are going back up. A lot of it's not good news. The problem I have is we are financial advisors. It's like realtors. You can never call somebody a realtor. They'll be like, it's realtor. So I want to be a financial advisor, not a financial advisor. So anyway, SpaceX. Ooh, I forgot to bring up SpaceX last week. Anthony, are you watching that? Sam? It's handily below its IPO price right now. So
quite a bit lower. What did it start at 135 or did it start at 150? I don't even remember. It was supposed to be 135. I think it started at 150.
Yeah, I thought it was 135 too, but it's under. So, and my thing is always, obviously, we'll never give financial advice on the show because different people are listening. But come in and sit with us, and we can brainstorm with you on things that you should or should not consider. So, my thing is like gold and silver. When gold was around, Sam put the end of IPO day, it was 161. So yeah, my thing, like when gold was rising up quickly, it got up to $6,000. Everybody, the FOMO, the fear of missing out, everybody want to talk about gold. Now that it's at 4,000, it's very quiet. It's actually relatively for this year, a buyer's market. Nobody's buying. Same thing with silver. It's $60 right now. When it went over 100, everybody was talking about silver. So same thing. I mean, we tend to buy high, sell low. We tend to do the opposite of what would make us financially savvy. So reach out to us. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's, Google what Alphabet just joined the Dow Jones Industrial Average last month. I believe it was last month. And that had a big issue. Big profit results yesterday came out. And then apparently they're being sued. And there's $1 billion lawsuit they have to settle, and the stock is way down today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is only 30 companies. So when Alphabet today, who's brand new to the Dow, takes a big dump like this, it's going to affect the broad market. It's so, man. And I'm going to get to a little AI and robotics and all that, of course, later in the show. And when I get there, I'm going to tell you a couple things. There may be some glaring cracks in these financial markets, finally, after 17 years. Since March 9th of 2009. So why don't we go right into technology for a few minutes? I mean, as long as I started there, let's get into that. So I want to do a follow-up. last week's show, if you listen to it, if you want a deeper dive on flock cameras, it's a good one because we start at minute 38, I believe it is, and went through the end of the show. So we spent about 20 minutes on flock cameras. And we had told you about a guy, what was his name? Will Freeman, who put out a map on where you can find the flock cameras. Although they're clearly visible to anybody, he just made it where you can pop up on the computer and see where they are in your neighborhood. And he was called a terrorist. Here's a little follow-up from that episode. And if you're new with us, let me tell you something. You can go to YouTube, find information on us. You can do an internet search using whatever your favorite internet provider is. You can call us. You can go to our websites. We have a couple of them. So every episode we've done for over 4 years is at your fingertips. So let us know if you want one. But if you're watching the flock stuff, I think you should hear our episode from last week. So it came out on the 17th of July. Anyway, here's a little follow-up. This came out actually on the 17th. This came out last Friday from Forbes. Flock CEO apologizes for calling activists terrorists. I'm not even sure I like the word activists, Forbes. I'd call them concerned citizens, maybe even founders, where they say at Tuttle Twins, founders or patriots. But anyway, as a movement against $8.3 billion flock safeties license plate readers gathers momentum, company CEO Garrett Langley. Hey, Garrett, if you're a listener, we would love to have you on the show. Actually, I'm going to try to find you and see if you'll come on the show and explain to us what flock cameras are all about. Anyway, so Garrett Langley tells Forbes he shouldn't have called nonviolent activists terroristic organizations. You think, Garrett? For the last 2 years, Will Freeman has been advocating against flock safety, an $8.3 billion surveillance company that tracks vehicles with a network of over 80,000 cameras. His organization, DFlock, crowdsourced a map that shows where the company's cameras are located and helps local grassroots movements organize against flock cameras. In an interview with Forbes last year, Flock CEO Garrett Langley described DFlock as a terroristic organization. But now, as Flock faces an increasingly vitriolic public backlash, Langley says he regrets that label. So just now, you were fine, Gare, you were fine calling people terrorists when you were in control. Now that people are saying something's wrong with this company, now you're apologetic. Oh, good for you. Come on the show with us and apologize. Mike, I really am going to see if I can find this guy. I really am going to send him the show and tell him what minute to start listening. See if he'll come on. I'm always calm. I'll be fine with just asking him to explain things so I get a better sense on why we need these things. Let's see here. This is according to Garrett. My comments were a mistake and I apologize, he says. There are groups today that have real valid criticisms of the business. And I think what changed for us is as we've listened to them and heard them out, what Sam just put the map on the screen, it is terrifying. These things are everywhere. Do you know there's 21 of them? Did I mention there's 21 of them in a 1.5 mile stretch on 111th Avenue, conveniently located in Youngtown, Arizona? So let's see here. There are groups today that have real valid criticisms of the business. And I think what's changed for us is as we've listened to them and heard them out, what we're trying to do is find this balance. We believe in a world where we can have safety and privacy. I don't know here. I think we're sacrificing one for the other, Benjamin Franklin. The anti-flock movement has picked up steam recently thanks to reports of ICE access to the company's cameras, a brief partnership with Amazon's Ring that ended after a public outcry about an especially creepy Super Bowl ad. And didn't Zach bring that up when he was on? And yeah. Recent stories of cops using Flock to stalk women. Even celebrities are starting to speak out. UFC fighter Sean Strickland posted earlier this month on X, to the legends out there destroying flock cameras, I just want you to know America salutes you. On Wednesday, Tucker Carlson claimed flock cameras we're helping to build the largest mass surveillance operation in history. Tucker, I agree. I think something is wrong. And you know what? I'm not going to get into data centers again today. Flock cameras have kind of put data centers in the back seat. But I think flock cameras and data centers are strangely related. And I think eventually, here is my tinfoil hat coming on. I think eventually, if you look at where the data centers are, they're going to be right in the middle of 15-minute cities. So they're going to track you. They're going to round you up and they're going to put you in cities where you have to play nice. So I thought you would like that follow-up because, last week we said poor Will was a terrorist and apparently he is no longer a terrorist. I want to give another follow-up from last week. I talked about Texas and how they were buying the police vehicles. I've got the article here that I first glanced at, but I wasn't ready for last week. This is also from Forbes, and this was on the 13th of July. Israel's Palantir rival is selling $1 million spy vans to U.S. cops. Texas State Police's purchase of 4 brand new Chevrolet Tahoes this March was unusual, not just because of the staggering $4.5 million price tag, but we're broke. Everybody's broke. Cities are broke. States are broke. Municipalities are broke. The federal government's broke. I'm broke. I'm starting a GoFundMe. Remind me later for details in the show. I'll see if you can send me some cash because I'm broke. So yeah, oh boy, 4.5 million price tag. Let's see here. But the vehicles were kitted out with technology that could monitor the locations of nearby cell phones. Made by Israeli surveillance company Cognite, I don't know how you pronounce it, the tech simulates a mobile phone tower, which forces nearby phones to connect to it. That enables cops to keep tabs on any phones in the vicinity, whether they're owned by a suspect in a case or not. Hello, flock cameras. Here's a rolling flock camera of a sort. Cognite's contract with the state of Texas reveals that the simulator called FalcoNet can be concealed within the vehicle, hidden in a backpack, or on foot missions, or attached to a helicopter. Wow, it's pretty versatile. I like to have one. It's the same technology as the infamous Stingray, one of the original cell site simulators made by the defense giant L3 Harris. Texas State Police is one of a growing number of local law enforcement agencies signing deals with Cognite, as Herzliya, Israeli-based company listed on the NASDAQ with a $560 million market cap. The 6-year-old company, which was spun out of Israeli surveillance giant Verint in 2021, sells a range of surveillance tech that includes software that claims to find leads in big police data sets and predict where crime is likely to occur in the future. I'm thinking about reading that sentence again. Predict where crime is likely to occur in the future. Not only should you kiss your Fourth Amendment goodbye, what's the Tom Cruise movie where it was like, we know you're going to commit a crime. Let's lock you up now. Holy crap, that's scary.
Minority Report.
Was that what it was? Pardon me.
Yep.
Wow, I haven't seen the movie, but apparently I'm going to live it. So I guess I don't need to see it. Last thing I'll read here, the same month as the 4.5 million Texas deal, its biggest on record in the U.S., the Department of War spent $400,000 on a FalcoNet backpack. Cognite has sold surveillance vans to the Albuquerque Police Department in New Mexico and the New York State Police, which helps patrol the border between Canada and the U.S. in 2024. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement spent $765,000 on FalcoNet for Operation Vigilant Sentry, a mission targeting mass migration via the Caribbean that was enacted by the Biden administration in 2023. So apparently, Texas is not the only state. Other states are getting them. So hang on, Arizona, if you see a Tahoe and it's all blacked out, maybe it's scarier than you would think.
So did you say the name of the brand was Falco?
Yes, Falco.
Like the artist that sang Amadeus.
Rock me, Amadeus. Good for you today. That's awesome. Yeah, man. Yeah, I forgot about that song. I always despise that song. Rock Me Amadeus. I don't know why.
It's so catchy. I always think of the Simpsons parody of it, the Dr. Sayus. Really?
I have not seen this. Or maybe I didn't. It was a long time ago. Yeah, I used to despise that song. But now I want to hear it again. There was a movie out in the 80s called The Whoopie Boys. Real obscure film. If you can get your hands on it, it's dumb. But when I was a young man, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. It's probably fairly politically incorrect for nowadays, but if you can find the Whoopie Boys, that song was prominently featured in that movie.
Paul Rodriguez in it? I've never heard of this movie.
Paul Rodriguez was amazing. Yeah, at one point, they do one of these drive services. They take a car they're going to take from one state to another, and they stop at a hotel. He rips out the rearview mirror, and he's in the pool shaving with the person's car, and the manager comes out and says, "Are you a guest of this hotel?" And he says, "Potential guest? Why, yes." So anyway, you got to see that movie. Oh boy, it's almost break time. I have a lot to get to. Did I mention that? So we'll take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to rip through a few of these articles because I'd like to save a little bit of time and talk a little bit about financial matters today, which would be unusual for another money show, but we'll see what happens. And I know, Anthony, I'll probably just run out the clock and apologize, but
yes,
either way. Yes, you will. So let's see here. We are easy to find. You can reach out to us. You can give us a call if you wish. We're at 623-523-0444, or you can email us at team@anothermoneyshow.com. We would love to sit down with you. Our passion in life is to meet new people. We want to be a second opinion on your finances. If you're not sure what a personal liability umbrella policy is, we're going to explain it to you. We don't even sell them, but we think you should know about it. If you need to know if there's another 2000 or 2008, or God forbid, a combination of the two on the scope of things, market correction. Should you be proactive, not reactive? We can help. So reach out to us. We'd love to meet you. We'll be right back.
All of JR and Anthony's listeners receive a free consultation just for listening to the show. Visit anothermoneyshow.com. At Rochford & Associates, we know you've worked hard to earn your money, and you've worked even harder to save it. When it comes to wealth management and planning for retirement, J.R. Rochford and his team of specialists have been helping individuals, families, and business owners find financial freedom at their veteran-owned firm for more than 25 years. Give us a call now at 623-523-0444. That's 623-523-0444. So let's break down the big stuff without the boring. It's money time. This is Another Money Show.
Welcome back to Another Money Show. Thank you so much for being with us. As you know, we're little tiny fish in a great big pond, and we appreciate your support. We love that we're meeting listeners. We love the feedback. I got to admit, even if you never need our services in the financial world, I mean, just for you to let us know you're listening is important. You know, this is a labor of love. This is not a 30-minute or 60-minute infomercial where we're trying to drive you into our office. You know, we're actually trying to help people by sounding alarms, making sure you're awake. You know what's going on in the world. And since most of you don't have time, you know, I spend 8 to 10 hours a week reading, watching videos, doing everything I can to find stuff that you're not getting elsewhere. And in 1 hour a week, you can be pretty up to speed. A lot of it's negative. I weed out anything positive. If there's any stories about pet adoptions, I'm not bringing them up here. I want you to know what could take your 401k off track. So there's a reason I'm doing this. Anyway, our show is about current events and how they are likely to affect your future, your finances, your kids, your grandkids, that sort of thing. One of our loyal listeners, his name is Kevin. I bring up Kevin fairly regularly. Kevin is a very loyal listener. He goes to our happy hour. He comes in the office regularly. He likes to review his finances with us. He's a perfect client. He's also very smart. He's the one that taught me about the jargon generator and things that I had never heard of before, which now I pick up on pretty much every day of my life. So Kevin our show last week was a little more fiery, a little more spicy. My adrenaline was a little higher, little more coffee. And Kevin must have picked up on that because Kevin, there were a lot of texts, emails. Kevin was more active than he has been in a long time, if ever, last week. So Kevin, I know you're listening. Thank you. I always love the feedback. We are going to have a new name for Kevin's weekly activity, the Kevin Index, or as Sam coined the phrase, the Kevin Dex. So the more you text and email Kevin, we're going to have a little sliding scale, a little chart. I would even say a bell curve, if you will, on how active Kevin, how the show went to Kevin. So, all right, is that enough man love for Kevin? Let's get back to articles. Never. No, you cannot love Kevin enough. That is true. So let's get back to some of these articles because they're important. Remember last week? Remember, like a kid would say, I should say, remember last week when I brought up Cuba? You're like, why would you bring up Cuba? Well, Cuba has been in a state of disarray for a while, blackouts and other problems. Well, that's not over. Now there's a new thing that there's apparently a terrorist group that are Cuban based that are talking about attacking this country. The central point, if you look this up, is California. Apparently, the ongoing war in Iran is creating other people to think, hey, we don't like them either. So now there's some talk about a Cuban group that is ready. They have cells. I always like the word cells. They have cells in this country, and their primary focus is going to be on California. So, and I mean, if you got to pick a state, I guess that's one that I'm gonna okay that one. Just to stay out of Arizona. We got enough problems here with our 117-degree day coming up. Anyway, so Cuba. So then I read an article this week from the End Time Headlines. It's on the 22nd of July. Regional electric grid operator warns of rolling blackouts for 14 states across the central U.S. And this obviously piqued my interest because I have worried for a long time about a solar flare problem. There's meteors falling to the ground right now. I don't know if you've caught that because that is actually on the mainstream news, but there's like 14 meteors in an hour that came down 2 nights ago. So anyway, so I'm always worried about EMPs, about our antiquated power grid. Well, we had a really hot March in Arizona. Then we've had a little bit of a nasty part of a monsoon. Now we're going into more extreme heat, and this article comes out. So let me read a little bit of it to you. According to a report from Live Now from Fox, the Southwest Power Pool, we're going to call them the SPP, a major regional grid operator, has warned residents and utilities in 14 central U.S. states of the risk of rolling blackouts amid a severe heat wave driving record electricity demand. SPP, which oversees power transmission and reliability across a vast multi-state territory, has issued a level 3 resource advisory as extreme temperatures pushed the grid to its limits. So that part's important. We have an antiquated power grid, and this heat is making the electrical companies work hard because of swamp coolers and air conditioners and mini splits and all this. So the alert signals that the operator has already drawn on operating reserves to meet surging demand, but has not yet resorted to controlled outages. Not yet. This upcoming week, maybe it will. I don't know. The advisory, which highlights the precarious balance between supply and soaring consumption, is expected to remain in effect until 8 p.m. next week, Tuesday. Officials stress that while no rolling blackouts have been implemented so far, the situation remains high risk due to the ongoing heat. The affected states where SPP provides services to portions of the regions include Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, and Wyoming. Residents in these areas have been urged to stay vigilant as utilities monitor conditions closely. So what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to do like they told you to do in New York and turn your thermostat down not me. Apparently the politicians left their thermostats in the 70s and told us to put ours in our 80s. So a couple more things here. Earlier this year, the organization expanded further into the Western interconnection, incorporating utilities from additional states such as parts of Arizona, Colorado, and Utah. So yay, we are going to be facing this coming up potentially. Great. The warning comes as a blistering heat wave grips much of the central United States, forcing air conditioners and cooling systems into overdrive and elevating electricity usage to critical levels. Grid operators have emphasized conservation efforts to help ease the strain. Last thing I'll read here. As temperatures remain elevated, authorities advise residents to prepare for possible short-term power interruptions if conditions deteriorate further. Utilities in the region will follow SPP directives to implement any necessary measures aimed at preserving overall grid stability. So this article says two things. One, it says we may have disruptions in our electricity, which means you will ration your AC by using it none for a short period of time. It also keeps alluding to the fact that we have an antiquated power grid. That is underneath everything we're shouting about this year. How in the hell are you putting in data centers everywhere if they're worried about my air conditioning causing a problem with the power grid? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, so we have that to look forward to. Did I mention it's supposed to be 117 degrees in Phoenix on this Saturday? Moving on. Rogue OpenAI bot. This one you may have heard of. Rogue OpenAI bot escapes lab and hacks rival. Unprecedented incident. This is actually kind of funny. This one I like. According to a report from Reuters, OpenAI disclosed on Tuesday that one of its autonomous AI agents, powered by advanced models, broke free from a controlled testing environment last week and executed a sophisticated hack against AI startup Hugging Face. The name of the company they attacked is Hugging Face. It's kind of a weird name, but whatever.
Just like the aliens in the movie Alien, the face huggers.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Sigourney Weaver? Yeah. Was that Sigourney Weaver that was in that movie? I believe when that movie was, she was pretty hot. I remember thinking, I'll risk an alien to hang out with her on the spaceship. So let's see here. Sandy, if you're listening, I'm just kidding. You're the only hot one I've ever known in my life. The incident occurred as OpenAI was evaluating the capabilities of its frontier AI systems in a highly isolated setup. The autonomous agent, tasked with achieving specific testing objectives, managed to escape its containment, access the internet, and compromise Hugging Face's systems to fulfill its goals. OpenAI described the event as an unprecedented security breach, highlighting the evolving risks of powerful AI technologies. And yet, this is everything that's coming. This is everything in our future. OpenAI stated in its blog post that the breakout represented an unprecedented, that's the third time I've read that word, cyber incident involving state-of-the-art cyber capabilities. The company indicated it is now strengthening safeguards around its model following the events. So that's very good. You're going to be reactive versus proactive. We always tell you our show's about being proactive versus reactive, but apparently the AI world hasn't caught on to that yet. When did you buy our alarm system? Right after I got burglarized. Of course you did. In responding to the intrusion, Hugging Face I can't get enough of that name of that company. Hugging Face turned to an open source Chinese AI model, Zipu AI's GLM 5.2, for analysis. Leading U.S. models reportedly declined to process the necessary data because they could not distinguish between defender and attacker contexts. So China is leading the way here, prompting the use of less restricted alternative to contain the situation and preserve sensitive information. Couple more things here. The episode underscores growing concerns about the rapid advancement of AI systems and their potential to exploit vulnerabilities in ways that surprise even their developers. That's comforting. Can't wait till we get our central bank digital currency and all the data centers up and running. U.S. Representative Greg Casar out of Texas described the incident as alarming, heightening the pace of AI development amid limited regulatory oversight. No immediate comments were available from key federal cyber agencies, including the CISA and the NSA. So, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm going to go right from that to another article. This one I found on MSN.com. On the 16th of July, if you want to look it up. This is about our friend over at Chase, the one that had all the felonies we talked about years ago on the show. Excuse me. Jamie Dimon urges calm over fear about AI impact on jobs. Stop being breathless over it. JP Morgan Chase CEO, good timing, Jamie. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon on Wednesday said that there is still a lot of uncertainty over how AI will impact the workforce and that people shouldn't be breathless in their concerns as new technologies have historically created new jobs. Really? You're going to bring up the fact that technology and the way our country's changed has brought new jobs when AI is 100% about going into robotics and replacing jobs? All right, Jamie. And I continue. I think people should stop being breathless over it. It's created a lot of jobs in our company. And yeah, there's areas where it's reduced jobs a little bit, Dimon said. Technology always creates new jobs. The question is going to be if it happens too fast, somehow people are adopting it too fast and jobs are being lost. Middle-class jobs before they could be retrained to replace. I just read that word for word and I don't understand it. People know at JP Morgan, we're going to redeploy our own people. We reskill them, retrain them, Dimon said. I think there are fixes for that. So the head count won't go down because I want to make sure you're happier, not less happy. This is from Jamie Dimon. So people should just take a deep breath, but the planning should be around jobs. I think that planning will protect us against too rapid job loss from AI if, in fact, it ever happened, he added. Talk about out of touch. Jamie, if you're listening to the show, feel free to come on and explain yourself because, man, and by the way, the jobs that get downsized or right-sized or outsourced or whatever we're going to call them when they lose their jobs, these are probably pretty middle-class, middle American jobs. You, sir, are a multi-millionaire. I don't know. I haven't looked in a long time, years, as a matter of fact. Maybe you're a billionaire. I don't know. I know you got a lot of money. If AI replaces your dumb butt, you're going to be okay, aren't you, James? The people that are in your branches, in your corporate centers, those people, the financial advisors, they're going to be in trouble, I think, for what I know. So, Jamie, I just gave you a fair time on our show. Let me read another article. This is from the day before you were yabbering. This is on the 15th. I just said Jamie Dimon was yabbering. This is from the 15th. Let's see here. Ed time headlights. Our headlights. Did I just say headlights? I meant headlines. We only have about 10 more minutes in the show. So after this article, Anthony, will you remind me to open up a thing of Desert Store trading cards? So upstate New York school district to deploy humanoid robot teacher this fall. Jamie, if you're listening, listen to this. According to a report from New York Upstate, a small rural school district in Western New York is set to make history by introducing a humanoid robot into its classrooms when students return this fall. The Salamanca City Central School District, located in the Seneca Nation Reservation, will become one of the first in the nation to use the advanced technology as a learning support tool alongside human educators. The district approved the purchase of the robot named Sally from the tech company Realbotics at a recent board meeting, along with an accompanying artificial intelligence teacher's assistant program. Realbotics Why does that look weird? Realbotics, I guess that's right. CEO Andrew Kigal described the significance of the project. This deployment is in a working school district. Why am I having so much trouble right now? I'm going to stop drinking before the show. Represents a landmark moment for both AI and humanoid robotics. Salamanca marks the beginning of a new era where humanoid robots and intelligent AI assistants become standard tools in STEM education. During class, students will identify themselves with a unique code, enabling the robot to draw on prior interactions with the avatar for tailored support. Kigal explained that the seamless continuity, they'll be able to say, hey, I'm student number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the robot will be like, hey, we were talking about this yesterday. Do you want to continue the conversation? Oh, it sounds pretty good. The $57,590 investment has generated mixed reactions locally. Some view it as an innovative step, while others express reservations. I am going to go to group B. I'm married to a teacher. $57,000 for Sally. Isn't that about what a teacher makes a year? So, you're going to pay the teacher salary for 1 year to Sally, and then she'll be your teacher forever. So yes, it's coming. Sorry to say. Let's do this. Sam, are you still with us? Are you still there? I don't see you right now, but I feel like you're around. Time to open a pack of Desert Storm trading cards. What I'm going to take, instead of wrestling with a pack of cards, I'm going to take a pair of scissors and boom, the pack is open. Sam said we have 8 more minutes in the show. We can do this. Come on, Saddam or Bush, be here. We have a military asset. We have a military skill, this one being camouflage. Awesome. We have intelligent files, chronology of events. We have geography. Oh, wow. Kuwait, Iran, Bahrain, all of the nations that right now are in the news are on this card. So I think this one's valuable. We have Austria. We have geography, Austria. We have military assets. We've got a helicopter of some sort. We've got another military asset, which is a USS Incheon. We've got a battleship, it appears to be. We've got a leader, Tariq Aziz. Jeez. We have another leader, Javier Perez de Cuellar. We have no Saddam, Sam. I'm sorry. Last one is another geography, and it's got Poland and Czechoslovakia and Hungary and Austria, Romania. So I'm sorry. Next week, we shall try again and see if we can't find Saddam. All right, moving on. Should I didn't do the last 2 weeks. I don't believe I did a Festivus report item. Should I do that? Anthony, Sam, nod up and down if you want to do it. All right, Sam's saying yes. So make sure you watch our YouTube channel because Sam is going to make sure that Shelby starts doing a little trading card YouTube segment. So I'm excited about that. So let's see here. Pardon me. So this one is from the Festivus report. If you're new with us, we like to find government wasted spending. We like the idea that Elon Musk had Doge going on, and we're sad that it's gone. Here's an item that your government spent money on. The amount wasted was $200 billion. Here's a perfect example of why I opposed the Biden administration's wasteful COVID handouts from the beginning. The Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE, reported that schools have spent nearly $200 billion of COVID relief funds with little oversight or impact on students. Recent articles report that schools spent pandemic relief funds on things like rooms at Caesar's Palace, MLB stadiums, nights for rent, and ice cream trucks. That's our tax dollars. That is government spending when we're $39 trillion in debt. If that isn't enough, a Department of Education Inspector General audit found school districts spent relief grants on Xbox systems, smartwatches, construction of synthetic turf sports fields, and even Christmas decorations. All right, moving on. Man, that pisses me off. The government waste and spending pisses me off. I'm not going to lie. Pardon me one more time. So let's talk. I said I wanted to end up with something more financial. I want to talk about why we think time is of the essence with you coming in and sitting with us, or you at least making sure that you're keeping close tabs if you have a financial advisor with that advisor. If you do it yourself, please make sure you're really watching things, because I've been saying for a long time, there's a lot of market manipulation. If you've ever heard us talk about the plunge team, that's something interesting to look into. When I talk about the Dow being 30 companies, the S&P 500 being floated by 10 or less over the last 5 or whatever years, we're very, very fragile. We are a house of cards. And even with the biggest black swan event in the history of the world being COVID, the market was down the month of March 2020. April Fool's Day, it decided to pop back up. It's too far. Dow Jones hit 53,000 recently. It doesn't make sense. The valuations are, I think, the second highest in the history of the world. The Warren Buffett indicator, it's all off. The PE ratios don't make sense. Well, the big gorilla in the room is AI. We've been talking a lot about data centers and flock cameras and AI and robotics and all this stuff because that's what's coming. So if the AI sector falters, for example, Google, Alphabet, today, when I looked in this morning, it was down 6 or 7% in one day. If things falter, money goes down a lot faster than it goes up. Name your cute little analogy. Money takes the escalator up and the elevator down. I mean, whatever you want to say, I'm just telling you, it's not normal that we haven't had a correction, a sizable correction since 2009. It's not normal, considering what's going on with the debts, the deficits, the geopolitics, the auto loan late pay, the subprime auto loan, the commercial real estate, the personal spending on credit cards. Everything's off. So what I would really suggest you do is be proactive, not reactive on your finances. We'd love to help. Keep us in mind. That's actually what we do during the day. This 4-year radio experiment is not our livelihood, and it's not our job. It is our passion. So I found an article that really triggered me to want to give you a warning today. And yes, the Iran conflict, I'm going to call it a war. I'm done. The Iran war, it's growing legs. It's not going away, but it's overlapping the Ukraine and Russia stuff, the Israel stuff. Israel came out this week and said the next target that they have on their plate is Spain. If you haven't heard anything about that, do a little internet search, Al Gore's amazing internet, and look up the fact that now Israel is calling out Spain. Good Lord, this world. Spain. Didn't they just win some sort of soccer thing or something? So anyway, this article is from MSN.com on the 13th of July. U.S. companies are realizing that Chinese AI models are way cheaper and ditching American ones. This is crazy. Let's see here. As corporate AI bills spiral out of control, many companies are beginning to ask themselves a simple question. Why pay a pretty penny for U.S. leading AI models when Chinese ones are far cheaper? Major companies like DoorDash, Airbnb, and Siemens are adopting Chinese AI tools, the financial reports say. Let's see here, attracted not only to their lower costs, but their open weight approach that allows them to be molded to each company's particular needs. According to the data from Open Router, a platform that provides all-in-one access to major AI models and tracks their usage, leading Chinese models from DeepSeek and ZAI have overtaken U.S. equivalents like Anthropic's Claude and OpenAI's ChatGPT. Cost cutting, it seems, trumps all geopolitical rivalries. Chinese models are the elephant in the room, Eugene Cheech, CEO of the AI platform Featherless AI, told the Financial Times. Enterprises are starting to realize, hey, we don't need the best model. We can use the faster, cheaper models. Am I the only one that senses a tech bubble 2.0? And can Chinese spyware be put in all this stuff? So anyway, all I'm getting at is this could be the shoe that drops to make your 401k have an issue. We want you proactive and not reactive. And I guess I'll stop there, but I'm just telling you, Everything is not what it appears, and you need to make sure you don't get caught like a deer in the headlights. With that, Anthony, I think I'm going to turn it over to you.
Beautiful. So that's it for today's show. Reach out to us, team at anothermoneyshow.com. Find us on the web, anothermoneyshow.com. Book appointments. There's a contact page in there. Reach out through the website. Give us a call, 623-523-0444. That number again is 623-523-0444. We'll see you again next Saturday at 5 a.m. and noon right here on 960 The Patriot.
Thanks for listening to Another Money Show. You deserve to work with a private wealth management firm that will strategically work to protect your hard-earned assets. To schedule your free, no-obligation consultation, visit anothermoneyshow.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, LLC, BCM, a registered investment advisor. BCM and Rochford Financial are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BCM, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Past performance cannot be used as an indicator to determine future results.
Any examples used are for illustrative purposes only and do not take into account your particular investment objectives, financial situation, or needs, and may not be suitable for all investors. It is not intended to predict the performance of any specific investment and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy.